Imagine crossing the United States from New York to Los Angeles in under 10 minutes. Now picture a jet that can slip silently above the edge of space, guided not just by a human pilot, but by an onboard artificial intelligence that reacts faster than any human ever could. These ideas might sound like science fiction, yet they are exactly the kinds of breakthroughs military engineers are chasing under the banner of 7th-generation fighter development. The reality, though, is more complicated. While the United States is pouring billions into advanced research and development, China is already flying new prototype stealth fighters that suggest a push beyond the 6th generation. Russia, though slowed by economic and technological hurdles, is still publicly claiming it will field its own next-era fighter by 2035. The competition is fierce, and the timelines are closer than many once believed. Welcome to Jet Insight. In this video, we are going beyond the F-35, the most advanced 5th-generation jet in service today, and the newly unveiled F-47, America's 6th-generation next-generation air dominance platform. Both of these fighters are impressive achievements, yet they may already be on the path to obsolescence, because what is now emerging on the horizon is not just an incremental step forward, but a generational leap. 7th-generation fighters promise to change the very nature of air combat, and if the technology proves real, they could rewrite the balance of global power. Context reframe. Why 7th Gen matters. The F-35 Lightning II represents the pinnacle of 5th-generation fighter technology, stealth, sensor fusion, and networked combat capability that transformed air superiority in the early 21st century. It was a leap ahead of legacy jets, yet by the time the F-47 NGAD enters operational service, even the F-35 could already be outpaced. The F-47, awarded to Boeing in March 2025, is America's 6th-generation answer to air dominance. With stealth improved to Stealth++, a combat radius over 1,000 nautical miles, top speeds above Mach 2, and the ability to coordinate with swarms of semi-autonomous drone wingmen, the F-47 will redefine how air superiority is achieved. Yet the F-47 itself may soon meet challenges from 7th-generation concepts. Rival nations including China and coalition allies in the UK, Japan, Italy GCAP program are pursuing designs that may introduce radically new capabilities well beyond what 5th and 6th generation aircraft can achieve. To put the technological leap into perspective, consider the gap between the P-51 Mustang and the F-35, remarkable in its own right. Now imagine a similar leap between the F-35 and a fully realized 7th generation fighter. Greater speed, larger payloads, manned-unmanned team coordination, and artificial intelligence that enhances pilot decision-making in real time. This is a paradigm shift, not just an upgrade. By the late 2020s, when the F-47 reaches initial operational capability, the global fighter landscape may already be entering a new era. The United States cannot assume that its current lead will hold. The next generation of air combat may be determined by who integrates AI, drone wingmen, stealth, and directed energy systems first. Staying ahead requires more than incremental improvements. It demands a fundamental redesign of air combat strategy. If you want to stay at the forefront of aviation innovation, hit subscribe and join Jet Hub. Capability pillars. Hypersonic speed. The evolution of fighter aircraft speed has defined air superiority for decades. The F-22 Raptor, America's premier 5th-generation fighter, tops out at Mach 2.2, allowing it to outpace most adversaries while maintaining stealth and maneuverability. In contrast, 7th-generation concepts are projected to achieve sustained hypersonic speeds exceeding Mach 5, more than double what current airframes can accomplish. Achieving this leap requires solving engineering problems that were once considered insurmountable. Thermal loads at Mach 5 are extreme, with surface temperatures capable of exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius. Conventional alloys cannot survive these conditions for extended periods, which is why 7th-generation prototypes will employ metamaterials and advanced ceramics capable of dissipating heat while maintaining structural integrity. Adaptive engines with variable cycles will allow optimal performance at both low and hypersonic speeds, enabling fighters to transition seamlessly between combat and rapid transit roles. The operational implications are profound. A Mach 5 fighter can traverse the continental United States in under an hour, striking targets anywhere on a theater-scale map before adversaries have time to respond. air defense networks calibrated for Mach 2 intercepts may be rendered ineffective. Reaction windows for enemy radar and missile systems shrink from minutes to seconds, effectively redefining what is possible in both offensive and defensive operations. Beyond speed, hypersonic maneuverability complicates traditional interception calculations, forcing a re-evaluation of defensive doctrines worldwide. AI and autonomy. Artificial intelligence is poised to become the silent co-pilot of 7th-generation fighters. AI can execute tactical maneuvers, manage sensor fusion, prioritize threats, and optimize weapon deployment faster than any human. Autonomous drones such as the YFQ-42A and YFQ-44A, already in 2025 testing, demonstrate early iterations of this integration, providing the framework for a fleet where manned aircraft and AI-driven assets operate seamlessly together. In this model, human pilots act primarily as supervisors, overseeing complex battle spaces while AI manages real-time tactical execution. Decisions that once depended on human reaction times can now occur at machine speed, measured in milliseconds. Sensor data is continuously analyzed, targets are tracked and prioritized, and defensive maneuvers are executed autonomously. The result is a faster, more adaptive fighter force capable of overwhelming traditional human-centered adversaries. The implications extend beyond combat effectiveness. Training and doctrine shift as pilots become coordinators of AI-driven networks rather than lone warriors in the sky. Engagements evolve into coordinated interactions between human judgment and artificial intelligence, reducing errors and increasing the efficiency of force projection. Wars fought at machine speed demand a fundamental redesign of command hierarchies and operational planning. Manned-unmanned teaming, MUMT. Manned-unmanned teaming is a core capability of the F-47 NGAD program. Each fighter is expected to operate with approximately 1,000 collaborative combat aircraft, CCAs, for every 200 manned jets, effectively multiplying force projection. These drones perform reconnaissance, electronic warfare, decoy operations, and strike missions under the direction of a human pilot. Similar initiatives are being pursued by China, Russia, and the UK, Japan, Italy GCAP coalition, indicating a global commitment to unmanned integration. A single fighter functions as the quarterback of a drone swarm, orchestrating hundreds of autonomous assets across a contested battle space. This dramatically increases situational awareness, firepower, and survivability. The implication is a transformation of air combat. The skill of a pilot is amplified by a network of machines capable of extending operational reach far beyond conventional fighter limitations. Engagements no longer depend solely on the aircraft's physical performance, but on its ability to coordinate complex drone formations in real time. Stealth++ and multispectral concealment. 5th-generation fighters introduced radar stealth, reducing detectability and giving pilots a tactical advantage. 7th-generation aircraft, however, aim to go further by integrating multispectral concealment. Beyond radar suppression, these aircraft aim to minimize infrared, acoustic, and electromagnetic signatures. Advanced adaptive skins and plasma cloaking technologies, currently under assessment, will allow aircraft to dynamically alter their appearance across multiple spectra. Observations of China's J-36 and J-50 prototypes show early adoption of tailless stealth designs optimized for cross-domain concealment. This capability fundamentally changes the strategic landscape. Air defense systems must now detect aircraft that are invisible across radar, infrared, and acoustic sensors. Multispectral stealth forces, a rethinking of detection networks, requiring investment in quantum sensors, wideband electromagnetic monitoring, and integrated multi-domain systems. Airspace control, historically dominated by radar coverage, becomes a contest of innovation, forcing a global stealth arms escalation. Sensors and quantum radar. 5th-generation aircraft pioneered sensor fusion, integrating radar, infrared, and electronic warfare data into a single operational picture. 7th-generation designs add quantum radar, leveraging quantum phenomena to detect stealth aircraft, a development that could reset the stealth competition entirely. Quantum radar uses entangled photons to measure disturbances caused by aircraft, theoretically allowing detection of previously invisible targets. This advancement enables cooperative engagement networks where multiple aircraft, drones, and ground sensors share real-time intelligence. A single fighter can detect, identify, and engage threats while simultaneously coordinating with autonomous drones and allied assets, creating a battlefield awareness previously impossible. The implication is a revolution in operational doctrine, with stealth no longer a guarantee of survivability and network coordination becoming the decisive factor. Directed Energy Weapons, DEW. Airborne directed energy systems are transitioning from experimentation to operational capability. The USAF's SHIELD pod has demonstrated airborne laser functionality, and GCAP's plans for integrating lasers into fighter platforms highlight the growing role of DEWs. These systems can neutralize incoming missiles almost instantaneously, providing a strategic advantage against saturation attacks. The impact is transformative. Air defense and missile interception doctrines are disrupted as near-instantaneous targeting allows fighters to engage threats at the speed of light. The defensive posture shifts from reaction-based to preemptive, and offensive strategies must account for counter-laser capabilities. DEWs complement kinetic systems, enhancing both survivability and lethality. Materials and manufacturing. 7th generation fighters rely on metamaterials, ceramics, and heat-resistant composites to survive extreme thermal and mechanical stresses. Self-healing materials further enhance durability, allowing aircraft to maintain operational readiness even after sustaining damage. Advanced 3D and 4D printing techniques enable adaptive structures and rapid field replacement of damaged components, reducing logistical burdens and forward deployment risks. The implication is strategic flexibility. Maintenance cycles shrink, aircraft sustainment becomes more cost-effective, and mission availability increases. Forces can deploy highly capable fighters without requiring extensive infrastructure, giving a decisive edge in rapidly evolving conflict scenarios. Space-capable fighters. 7th generation concepts expand operations into near space. Russia's MiG-41 claims near space capabilities at Mach 4+, while China explores orbital flight prototypes. These fighters provide reconnaissance, strike potential, and strategic presence in a domain previously reserved for satellites. Near-space operations redefine theater strategy, introducing a vertical dimension to air combat that intersects traditional air and space domains. The implications extend to deterrence, intelligence, and rapid response capabilities. Nations that control near space can project power with unprecedented speed and reach, influencing both military and geopolitical calculations. Control of the near space domain becomes an essential element of future air dominance. Electronic and cyber warfare. 7th generation fighters integrate electronic and cyber capabilities directly into combat operations. Platforms like the GCA PISANKE suite allow mid-flight jamming, spoofing, and offensive cyber attacks. Electronic warfare and cyber operations occur simultaneously with kinetic actions, making fighters not just weapons platforms, but nodes of a larger networked battlespace. The implication is decisive. Adversaries must defend against both physical and digital attacks simultaneously. Cyber-enabled fighters can disrupt command and control networks, blind enemy sensors, and manipulate electronic signatures, effectively shaping the battlefield before weapons are deployed. Range and payload. The F-47 has a combat radius exceeding 1,000 nautical miles. 7th generation designs aim to extend this further, with larger payload bays capable of carrying hypersonic weapons, micro-drones, and advanced munitions. This enables deep strike missions, rapid global deployment, and distributed operations that challenge traditional defense perimeters. The implication is operational dominance. Adversaries must invest in extensive coverage to counter both conventional and hypersonic threats. The extended range and payload flexibility gives 7th generation fighters the ability to strike across continents and engage multiple targets in a single sortie, redefining strategic and tactical planning. Combined impact. Individually, these capabilities represent substantial technological leaps. Collectively, they redefine air combat. 7th generation fighters merge hypersonic speed, AI-driven autonomy, multispectral stealth, quantum sensors, directed energy weapons, and near-space operations into a single, coherent system. Operationally, they extend reach, increase survivability, and compress reaction times to unprecedented levels. Strategically, they force global competitors to rethink defense, invest heavily in counter technologies, and prepare for a new era where air superiority is defined not just by aircraft performance, but by integration, adaptability, and technological dominance. Rival Program Snapshot. The global race for 7th-generation air superiority is already underway, and multiple nations are positioning themselves for dominance. The United States leads with the NGAD F-47 program, which integrates manned fighters with swarms of collaborative combat aircraft, including the YFQ-42A and YFQ-44A prototypes. These autonomous drones, tested extensively in 2025, extend the tactical reach of each manned aircraft while providing reconnaissance, electronic warfare, and offensive strike capabilities. The F-47 program exemplifies America's approach: high-speed, AI-driven, stealth-enhanced fighters capable of operating in contested, multi-domain environments. China is following closely. Its J-36 and J-50 prototypes, which made reported flights in December 2024, incorporate tailless stealth designs and multi-spectral concealment measures. These aircraft aim to compete directly with US 5th and 6th generation platforms, while also exploring manned-unmanned teaming concepts. China's approach emphasizes sensor integration and strategic regional dominance, reflecting a doctrine focused on denying access to adversaries in key theaters. Russia's MiG-41 represents a more ambitious but controversial vision. Claimed to achieve Mach 4 plus near-space operations, the MiG-41 would extend the operational domain into the upper atmosphere, providing strategic reconnaissance and strike capability. However, skepticism remains regarding the feasibility of sustained operations at such altitudes and speeds, given the extreme engineering challenges and current material limitations. Allies are not far behind. The UK, Japan, Italy GCAP coalition is developing the Tempest fighter, expected to reach initial service date in 2035. The program emphasizes interoperability, shared R&D, and multi-domain capabilities, positioning Europe and its partners to field a competitive 7th generation platform alongside US programs. The implication is clear: 7th generation air superiority will be multipolar. No single nation can dominate alone, and the next decades will see a blend of technology races, coalition building, and strategic positioning. Air combat is evolving from individual aircraft performance into a complex network of systems, drones, AI, and multi-domain integration. Nations that fail to keep pace risk strategic obsolescence. Timeline and economics. The F-47 NGAD program is projected to reach initial operational capability in the late 2020s, giving the United States a potential edge in early adoption. GCAP's Tempest program is slated for 2035, while France, Germany, Spain's FCAS is targeting 2040. Projections suggest that true 7th generation platforms, capable of fully integrating hypersonics, AI, quantum sensors, and space operations may not arrive until the 2050s. This timeline underscores the long development cycles, immense engineering challenges, and high stakes of advanced air combat systems. Cost is another defining factor. The F-35 program exceeded $1 trillion over its lifetime, and 7th generation programs are expected to be multiple times more expensive. No single nation can afford to develop, produce, and maintain these fighters independently. Coalition approaches, as seen in GCAP and FCAS, are inevitable. Collaborative development spreads financial risk, accelerates technology transfer, and enhances interoperability, but it also introduces political and logistical complexity. The combination of extended timelines and escalating costs shapes the strategic landscape. Nations must balance investment against risk, ensuring that early technological edge translates into lasting operational dominance. Delays or budget shortfalls could alter the global balance, particularly as AI, hypersonics, and near-space capabilities redefine what air superiority means in the mid-21st century. Strategy, ethics, and risks. 7th generation fighters carry strategic implications far beyond air combat. Deterrence strategies are evolving as adversaries recalibrate their war plans in response to aircraft capable of hypersonic strikes, autonomous operations, and cyber-enabled warfare. Conventional doctrines must adapt to a reality where battles are increasingly fought through networks, AI, and rapid kinetic action, often before human decision-making can intervene. Ethical concerns are equally pressing. AI-enabled lethal autonomy raises questions about human responsibility and oversight. Human-on-the-loop debates, where pilots supervise but do not directly control weapon deployment, highlight the tension between operational efficiency and ethical accountability. International law and rules of engagement frameworks lag behind technology, leaving a gray zone in which conflicts could escalate unpredictably. Environmental considerations are also emerging. Hydrogen fuels, greener manufacturing processes, and sustainable materials are under exploration, reflecting a broader recognition that air combat innovation cannot ignore ecological impact. Nevertheless, technological advancements are outpacing legal, ethical, and environmental governance. The implication is destabilization risk. Nations could gain unprecedented capabilities before norms and regulations catch up, increasing the likelihood of miscalculation or accidental escalation. Beyond immediate battlefield implications, the rise of 7th-generation fighters forces a reconsideration of global security dynamics. Nations will need to rethink traditional deterrence models, as the speed, autonomy, and reach of these platforms compress decision timelines dramatically. Ethical debates intensify with AI-managed lethal systems, raising questions about accountability when humans are mere supervisors rather than operators. International law struggles to keep pace, leaving gray zones in engagement rules and liability. Environmental considerations, including hydrogen fuel adoption and sustainable manufacturing, may become decisive in coalition support. The risk of destabilization grows as technology outpaces regulation, strategy, and even human understanding. 7th-generation programs therefore demand careful balancing of deterrence, ethics, and risk management. Nations must field technologically superior fighters while maintaining frameworks that prevent inadvertent conflict and ensure accountability. Those that fail to address these dimensions risk both strategic and moral disadvantage. Who will field 7th-generation fighters first, and what will it mean for global air dominance? The answer will shape the geopolitical order for decades. As we watch these programs unfold, it is crucial to recognize the scale, complexity, and revolutionary nature of this evolution. 7th-generation fighters are more than aircraft. They are multi-domain systems integrating hypersonics, AI, drones, quantum sensors, and space operations. For veterans, enthusiasts, and defense watchers, the stakes are both immediate and long-term. The pilots who operate these systems, the engineers who design them, and the strategists who deploy them are defining the future of warfare. Every program, every prototype, every technological breakthrough contributes to a new era in which air superiority is measured not just by speed or stealth, but by integration, intelligence, and adaptability. These aren't just planes, they're revolutions in how humanity controls the skies. Stay informed, stay engaged, and witness the next generation of aerial warfare unfold. Like, comment, and subscribe to Follow Jet Hub for ongoing coverage of 7th-generation fighter programs and the technological race shaping our world.